You're watching the Kat Kanavos Show here on New Earth International. And here she is herself, Kat Kanavos.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm so happy you're here. I've been waiting for you all week. And we're going to do something a little different on the show tonight. We're going to do dreams, my favorite thing in the whole world. We're going to talk about dreams. And we're going to talk about being strong and unafraid and unfailing and fearless in the eyes of crisis. When crisis is looking in your eyes, I want you to look back and say, I'm not afraid of you. You're just a part of life. And when you can laugh at crisis, it scares the boogeyman away. And suddenly what was so frightening becomes just a part of everyday life. If you think about it, think of how many times you may have had little crises all day long, like the toilet wouldn't stop running and you were afraid the toilet was going to break, or the dishwasher wouldn't start. Like, that's what happened to me the other day, and I was so upset. And I said to my husband, that's it. I'm not going to replace this dishwasher because we're getting ready to redo our kitchen. And I said, instead of replacing this dishwasher, I'm just going to pull in the one from another kitchen-like area that we've got, where we've got a second dishwasher. Yeah, that's how badly I need them. And I said, but I'm not going to replace this. Well, he goes, you're just being annoyed with the dishwasher, and it's not the dishwasher's fault that it is broken. So let's call someone to fix it, and that way you've got your two dishwashers. So I call someone to fix it because I'm going, oh, this is horrible. This is a crisis. We have, we have a dishwasher full of stinky, gross dishes, and I'm going to have to take them all out. I'm going to have to hand wash them or carry them across the house and put them in the other dishwasher. So I did. I called the repairman, and would you believe it wasn't the dishwasher? I just kind of laughed about it to my husband. I said, okay, get over here. We're going to load up your arms with dirty, stinky dishes, and you're going to have to carry them across the room and put them in the other sink. So I called the repairman, and it wasn't the dishwasher at all. What had happened was the hot water heater had gotten unplugged in our garage because we were having new kitchen appliances stored in the kitchen, and somehow somebody got a hold of the plug and yanked it out of the wall. There was no hot water, so the water intake wasn't working in the dishwasher. So all we had to do was, yes, I'm embarrassed to say it, plug the hot water heater back in, and my dishwasher worked. But, you laugh it off, and you just keep going, and then things aren't so bad. In fact, the dishwasher guy, the repairman, he didn't even charge me for the house call. I mean, I was just laughing so hard, and he was laughing so hard. He laughed, and so the lesson learned here is, no matter how bad the crisis seems to be, shift gears as quickly as possible, find the funny part of it, laugh about it, and you'll be amazed. You'll change the vibration on the earth level, and you'll find that things are not as bad as they seem. So what I want to talk about today are some of the dreams that are in my book, Surviving Cancerland, The Intuitive Aspects of Healing. It just won the Nautilus Book Awards. So I'm really proud of this little book. I wrote it during the time I was going through chemotherapy the first time. See, I'm a 3-time breast cancer survivor, and my dreams told me that I had breast cancer when the doctors were telling me I was healthy and to go home. So they would give me a mammogram and a blood test and a physical, and they'd say, you are the picture of health. Go home. And then I would have these recurrent dreams, these recurrent prophetic dreams that came true. And these dreams told me that I had breast cancer. And in the dreams, I would have a spirit guide / Franciscan monk. Yeah, I know people say, well, my spirit guides look like angels, or I've got the Archangel Gabriel. I've got monks. And in my dream, I'll be having my regular dream, and the dream will freeze. Just like your computer, when you've got a page on your computer that freezes. And then a pop-up will happen in my dream, just like on your computer where a pop-up window comes onto your computer. You can't get it off. You can't get rid of it. Your page is still frozen, and you have to just kind of give up and look at it. Well, that's what I would do in my dream. And the reason the dream that I was dreaming froze is because time had stood still. I wasn't in the Earth time continuum anymore. I was on the universal time continuum where there is no past. There is no future. There's only the great big now. Everything is now. And this pop-up window turned into a pop-up door. And through this door, this sacred dream doorway, stepped this Franciscan monk. Sitting there looking at him like, what are you? He's got a brown robe on, just like a monk. His hood is up so I can't see his face. He's got a rope belt around his waist. He's got sandals, leather sandals on his feet. And he says, you come with me. We have something to tell you. And he kind of leads me through the sacred door into the room between realms. This room is a room where the dead can visit you, and you can go and visit the dead. It's where my mother would come in and speak to me after her death. It's a room between realms. It's neither an area of the living nor an area of the dead. You don't have to have a near-death experience to get there, just a dream. And so this is an area, a special sacred area where both the living and the dead can meet and converse. You can get healing information from your passed over loved ones. You can get information from your spirit guides or your guardian angels. And this is all in my book. And he said, do you feel that? And I said, yeah. He said, that's breast cancer. Go back to your doctor tomorrow without an appointment and tell him that you need exploratory surgery. Well, this was like the third time he had shown up in my dreams, and through this pop-up window, through this sacred dream door. And so I had gone back to my doctors and told them I needed different tests, and they wouldn't listen. They gave me the same mammograms, same blood tests, same physical exam, and said, you're healthy, go home. So when he told me this in the dream, I was so frustrated, I started to cry. I started crying in the dream. And if you've ever had a dream where you've cried, it's hard to do and not wake up. Your crying will usually wake you up, but I didn't. And I said to this Franciscan monk spirit guide, if I really do have breast cancer and you really want me to live, you need to do something to help me because my doctors aren't listening to me. So help me. And this Franciscan monk guide reached into his pocket and he took out a feather, a tiny little white feather like you would see lying on your floor that came out of your pillow during the night. He said, if you take this feather and you go back to your doctor tomorrow without an appointment and you use this feather as though it were a sword and use it to verbally fence with him against his arguments for not doing further testing, you're going to win and get the test you need, which is exploratory surgery. And then he led me back through that sacred doorway. He just kind of led me back out into my frozen dream. The door turned back into the window. The window disappeared. My dream started up again, right where it had ended, because I was back on the earth plane. See, time is only relevant here on earth. It's not relevant on the other side. There is no time. There's only now. So I went back to my doctor the next day. Yeah, without an appointment. Grabbed my husband, got in the car, drove the hour and a half from Cape Cod into downtown Boston, showed up on my doctor's doorstep, and he looked at me and he said, "Why are you back?" And I said, "I know something is wrong. I know that I have a problem in my breast." And he goes, "Kathy, you're too young for cancer. It's not cancer. Doesn't run in your family. You don't have it." And I said, "I need exploratory surgery to find out what it is." And he said, "I can't just cut you open." I mean, he kind of looked like I had just set myself on fire. It's like, I can't just cut you open and explore your breast because you want me to. You know, it's against my policy. It's against hospital policy. I mean, are you listening to what you're saying? And I said, "Yes, I am." And I suddenly remembered that little feather. And I kind of took it out of my mind. And I imagined holding it and pointing it at him and saying, "You know, I'm not a hypochondriac. You know, I wouldn't ask you to cut me open and explore inside me. I'm not into surgery unless I really thought something was wrong. You're my doctor. You're the only person I can go to. Help me." And I imagined squeezing that feather between my fingers. And do you know, it was almost as if a vampire had walked into that room, waved his arms, and just glamored that doctor like they do on the TV. You know, that the vampire walks into the room and waves his arm and says, "Yes, you will jump off the building and land on your head." And the person in the TV show will go, "Yes, I want to jump off that building and land on my head." So my doctor said, "Okay, I'll be right back." And he goes out, he comes back in about 3 minutes later. I'm sitting up on the examining table going, "I wonder what he's doing." Because "I got an appointment for you. I have the surgery scheduled 3 days after New Year's." I was like, oh my goodness, did he just say yes? And so, long story short, I woke myself up out of anesthesia on the operating table. It's all in my book. And I turned to my doctor when I heard him say, "We got it all, close her up." And I said, "What was it?" And you could hear a pin drop in that operating room. Everybody just froze. And all I saw were, you know, these eyes over the masks looking at me and looking at each other. And this head comes up over the top of my head, you know, mask, looks at me and says, "Did she just speak?" It was the anesthesiologist. And my doctor turned to me and said, "Kat, it's just what we thought it is. It's just I'm going to move my microphone up. So if your ears get blown out, it's me. It's just what we thought it was. It's just a fibrostic tumor. It's nothing to worry about." So I went back to sleep, and it took forever to wake up because the anesthesiologist gave me a whole lot more anesthesia, because that waking up in the middle of an operation is the most excruciating pain you can imagine. It is so painful. You're completely awake and you're wide open. My breast was wide open. So when I was in the recovery room, I remember I was laying there going, "Oh, I am so nauseous from this anesthesia. Oh my gosh, this is so bad." And my doctor walked in and he pulled the privacy curtain closed behind me. And that was like the first alarm bell that went off. And then he came up to me and he said, "You know, Kathy, pathology didn't like what they saw when they cut open the little fibrostic tumor we found." And I said, "So is it breast cancer?" And he goes, "Yes, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to have to refer you to a specialist." And when I was in his office and he had said, "Yes, okay, I scheduled you for surgery 3 days after New Year's," I asked him, first of all, I asked him, "Who's going to do the surgery?" And he said, "Well, I am." And I said, "Well, don't you think we should have an oncologist present?" And he said, "Kathy, you are too young for breast cancer. Doesn't run in your family. You don't have it. I'm just going to go in there on the idea that there's a fibrostic tumor in there." So now I have cancer. They found the cancer. And now I have to get the oncologist that I asked for, which means I have to go in for a second surgery to make sure that I've got clear margins and check my lymph nodes. And it turned out the margins were clear, the lymph nodes were not. So I had to have my lymph nodes removed in a second surgery. So long story short, even though you're in crisis, even though I was in crisis, I didn't give in to it. I trusted in my spirit guides to guide me. I trusted in my guardian angels to come to my aid. And I simply had to go with the flow and believe that everything that I was going through was going to be for a higher purpose. And that purpose turned out to be the book that I wrote, Surviving Cancerland, Intuitive Aspects of Healing. And by the way, the back of it, the endorsement written on it is by Dr. Bernie Siegel. And what he wrote was Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos is a 3-time breast cancer survivor who used dreams to diagnose her illness. In Surviving Cancerland, Kathleen's account of how she learned to connect with her physician within through dreams, and I did learn about my physician within through another dream. Her name was Dr. Jules. It's in the book. Meditation and prayer. Believing in her intuition, Kathleen used it to self-advocate a course of cancer treatment, often having to persuade her doctors to cooperate with her. Don't tell your higher power how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your higher power is, Kathleen says. Work with your doctors, but never forget that the final decision is yours. And he writes, quote unquote, that was my quote. Kathleen hopes her story can help you make better decisions and choices, live a more fulfilling life, and discover your destiny. A nationally recognized inner guidance and dream work expert, inspirational speaker and coach. I'm doing a really good job on this, right? Kathleen hosts health and spiritual radio programs, and you're listening to one of my programs right now. So although the book, that when I wrote this book, I was in cancer treatment, I didn't really write it for cancer patients, because most cancer patients have their treatments that they want to do, and they really are kind of, they're set in what they want to do. The reason I wrote this book is to show how dreams can guide you on your path of life, no matter what your crisis is, whether it's a marriage coming to an end, whether it's financial dysfunction, whether you're having trouble in relationships. Let's say you're not sure if you should marry that guy or that girl. Are your dreams telling you whether you should or shouldn't? Are you having red flags show up in your dreams? That's what my book is all about. It's how to figure out what your dreams are saying to you, because everybody has their own unique dreams. Nobody else can really interpret your dreams for you, because what is important in one person's dream to them is not important to another person. I call our dream language Jabberwocky talk, just like in Alice in Wonderland when she's in the big forest and she runs into the Jabberwocky. And the Jabberwocky is speaking to her with words she can understand, but the words don't make sense. And so she can't get out of the forest for the trees. She's lost among the trees, and the forest is engulfing her. And in order to get out, she's got to figure out what the Jabberwocky is saying. It's the same thing with our dreams. We can't see the message for the dream. And our dreams speak until we reconnect with that language is like Jabberwocky talk. One of the ways we can connect with that inner Jabberwocky is by, first of all, remembering that you were born with the ability to understand your dreams. An infant or a fetus, when it's in the womb at 22 weeks, begins to have rapid eye movement, REM. That means its eyes are tracking whatever it's dreaming. And I've always wondered, if it hasn't been born yet, is it seeing the angels? Is it seeing heaven? Is it seeing the other side? Is that fetus's dream, that baby's dream? How amazing is that? So you're born with the ability to understand and connect with your dreams and the guidance within your dreams. Then as you get older, you're taught, dreams are for children. Push them aside. They're not any good. They're not going to give you any information. Only believe what you can see, feel, touch, your senses. Dreams are just random firings from the brain. So I ask you, if that's true, how could my dreams give me prophetic or precognitive dreams telling me that I have breast cancer and to go to my doctor, and what kind of a test or operation will show that cancer and then have that actually be validated by pathology reports? Because after my doctor told me that I did have the breast cancer, that was from the pathology report, not from my dream. So basically, my dream proved what the medical tests up to that point had not found, that I had breast cancer. And then the final test, the final operation that the dream told me to get, proved through the pathology report that the dreams were true and the tests up until then were not. And it proved that I had breast cancer. So what I'm trying to really point out here is that our dreams are so important to help us get through a crisis, no matter what that crisis may be. And here are survival keys in my book. Every end of chapter has survival keys with 3 little keys on how to make it through whatever crisis you may be experiencing. And the first one is fearlessly see crisis for what it is. Crisis leaves no belief systems or relationships unchallenged. It shakes your world to its foundations, and it does that for a reason. It's because you need to rebuild something. Something is lacking in your foundation, and so your foundation is crumbling with the crisis. You're always going to have crisis in the world. That's never going to end until you go to heaven. You know, from what I understand, they don't have them over there. But since I can't remember being over there, I can't really say that for sure. But when you're in a crisis and your belief system, your relationships, your world is being rocked to its foundations, it means that you need to strengthen that foundation. What do you need to add? What is the cement you need to bring into that to keep it strong? The next one, learn to welcome baptism by fire. And I talk about baptism by fire in my book all the time. It's where after you've gone through that crisis, what did you learn? How would you know if it's coming again, if it were to come again? What are the signals? What are the signs? What was the rhythm that was off in your life? So that the next time it might not blindside you. And also, you're going to be fearless because you've already gone through a crisis and you fixed those cracks. You built your foundation. So embrace the baptism by fire for what it is. It's an opportunity to learn to grow and be stronger than you've ever been. Anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And then you're ready for the next one that comes, because it's going to. So if you don't worry about the crisis, it won't be as bad when it happens, because the strongest fear we have in life is the fear of fear itself. Don't view crisis as fearful. View it as an opportunity to fix something that's not going well in your life. View it from a completely different point of view. And finally, don't tell your higher power how big your troubles are. Tell your troubles how big your higher power is, and that will scare them away. Because you always have that higher power, where whatever you want to call it, and however you wish to connect with it. But remember, everything that is alive dreams. We see puppies twitching, we see kittens, we see babies. Everything dreams. And there are different levels of dreams, and there are different types of dreams. So if you're watching right now, and I know you are, if you're listening, feel free to go to my website, KathleenO'KeefeCanavos.com. That's KathleenO'KeefeCanavos.com. And I'm going to post it on my Kat Kanavos Show Facebook page. You can go there and you can download for free. If you're listening to this show, you can go and download it for free. On the right-hand side of the page under Access Your Inner Guide, there's a button up at the top. Click it. There's 7 steps to access, awaken, and activate your inner guidance. Go there and download it because there's a free dream journal in there for you. And it tells you about the 7 types of dreams that everybody has and the 5 ways to remember them. And I would really love to hear from you about how you started to journal your dreams and how they are helping you in on your path in life. I'm going to be starting another radio show with Kelly Sullivan Walden. You may know her as Dr. Dream. And it's a show that's out of Seattle. It reaches all of the Seattle area in Washington and goes up into Canada as well. And we're going to be doing a lot of dreams on that show. It's called Dreams Unzipped. You can Google it. And I'm going to put the link to that show on my Kat Kanavos Show as well, because my Kat Kanavos Show deals with dreams on Tuesdays with Sheila Sistar. We talk about dreams. We talk about tarot cards for the day. We talk about a lot of spiritual things. And so this new show that I'm starting with Kelly Sullivan Walden is going to deal a lot with dreams, Dreams Unzipped, and we're going to have some incredible people on our show. But the 4th Friday of every month is only going to be dreams. So if you have a dream that you would love to talk to us on the show about live, you can leave me a message on my Kat Kanavos Show message box, or you can write it right in on that page. And I will give you the phone number to call in on that show, and we'll do it live. And then I'll post all of that on my Kat Kanavos Show page. So I'd love to have you interact with me with your dreams. I love dreams. They're so important to us. They keep us on the right path. They guide us. And you'll know when you start to connect with your dreams and you start to get into that guided dream and you connect with your spirit guides, that no matter how bad that crisis is, you're never alone. When you think everybody else has deserted you, they haven't. You still have your spirit guides, your guardian angels. You're their job. They take that job seriously, and they will see you in your dreams. So we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next Monday when our guest is going to be the next Realities of Creation author, Leslie Emerson. Leslie Emerson is going to be with us, so don't miss it. Tune in. I'll be waiting for you. Until then, have a great week.